You know, I think it's not a bad thing in a man's life every once in a while take on a project that literally scares the hell out of you. In September of 2022, I decided I was going to remodel this house, gutter to the studs, rewire it, replumb it, new roof, insulation, flooring, walls, paint, interior and exterior. I live over 200 miles from here. I got a marriage to maintain, a business to run, and a YouTube channel to keep up with. But I'm done. I did it. It's finished. service truck. We got to find some plumbing parts, going to Lowe's. I punched in the Waze an address or a name called Faulkner Residence. And just something I remembered that I built that was pretty crazy. This would have been around 1995.
3.2 miles. Take exit 118B, US 29 north toward Charlottesville, Culpeper.
So it's telling us 118B. That sounds right. We're going to go to this Faulkner Residence and look for something called the Faulkner Pavilion. I built the structural steel for that pavilion, I think, about 1995. And I know it's still there, unless somebody tore it down with a bulldozer, because it's built like a missile launch center for the government. Literally. Like, I mean, this thing, it's built. A little bit overkill for a pavilion. I hope it's there. I hope we get to see it. But I'm telling you, it's like a missile launch center built by NASA in conjunction with the federal government and all the money in the world. It looks like it was built by people that can print money, for sure. But it was built by the University of Virginia, and we're going to go check it out, see if it's there. So we're here at Faulkner Residence. I ain't got a lot of time. I could get towed for parking there without a permit. But we got to check this out. All of what you see here that's green is steel. That's rectangular tubing. Inside of that tube there's a light, and that piece that comes up like that, the light shines upwards at night. One hell of a pavilion. Look at the size of the channel and the bolts. I remember the engineer added a connection to this. This truss wouldn't fit in the vat to hot dip galvanize this. That whole truss, they wanted to hot dip galvanize this in one piece, and it wouldn't fit. So there had to be that slipped together right there and bolted just because of that. So this thing, it got built. I fabricated all that steel at Quality Welding, you know, as a fabricator for Quality Welding in Charlottesville. And we put that steel, it was designed by an architect and then drawn by an engineer and then built by me as a fabricator and welder. And then I put that steel on a truck. I put that steel on a truck, the Quality Welding's delivery truck, hauled it to Richmond, Virginia, and it was hot dip galvanized. And when they hot dip galvanize, usually to make your galvanizing pretty, when they pull it out of the vat of molten zinc, they dip it in fresh water. That's what, like the poles for a chain link fence you see that are real smooth, they look nice galvanized. That's what they've done with them. They dipped them in molten zinc and then quenched them in fresh water. If you want to paint something that gets hot dip galvanized, you don't do that. What you do is you pull it out of the molten zinc and you just let it air dry. And when you do that, it looks bad. And when I say it looks bad, it's really dull and kind of blotchy. It's not all the same finish, but it's rough, which is what you want to paint. If you dip it in fresh water and make it smooth, like I'm talking about, like the way you would see a galvanized fuel tank or like the poles of a chain link fence that are smooth galvanized, when you dip it in fresh water and make it smooth like that, it doesn't paint very good. So anyways, that steel got hot dip galvanized, every bit of it, and then a construction erection company came out and put the steel together, and I come out and looked at it then, but they didn't need me for anything because it all bolted together fine. And they painted it then with there's 3 coats of self-etching primer and then 4 coats of high dollar paint. Anyway, we gotta go to Lowe's. I'm getting sidetracked. I have ended up doing a lot more work outside than what I thought I was gonna. I knew I was gonna do all my measuring and stuff for my roof, but I ended up looking at these windows, and there were several of them with with damage, and the way this wood is, I wanted to take some video of it. I think this is original, and this is really tight grain old hardwood around these windows. And it amazes me how, you know, now we've got vinyl and powder coated aluminum and so many things that go around windows that last a long time. But this house was built in 1925, and I'm pretty sure that's how long this wood's been here. And of course, if you look at where it's been painted, man, it's been painted over and over and over. I'm actually grinding the paint off. But look at how this wood, see, that's just caulked. You know, there's just a seal with caulking. And so I'm grinding and I'm scraping. And there's some, while I was up here on the scaffold, I noticed there's some small screws that need to come out up there. And I was taking a couple of those out. And those are screws that would need to be taken out of this strip right here before I put my flashing on. And so I was taking them screws out, and I was using this painter's tool, this 5-in-1 tool that I scrape with. I was using it because they were flat, and they're flathead screws, and this was kind of working to take them out of there. And I was thinking about how resourceful I was being. You know, I'm up here on this scaffolding. If I had to go get a screwdriver, I'd have to climb down. And then, you know, I turned my head, something hit me in the chin, and I realized I have a flathead screwdriver in my pocket. So there's that. All of the wood around the windows, and also the attic vents. There's an attic vent on each side. Got stripped clear down to the bare wood. The procedure I went with on this, I applied a coat of primer to each one, and I let it dry at least overnight. And then I recaulked painter's caulking all the way around really well. So this paintable caulking will be, it'll be painted. But even though this is the caulking I'm using, that's the Alex Plus Fast Dry. They say you can paint that in 20 minutes. No doubt you can paint it in 20 minutes. But when they say you can paint it in 20 minutes, to do that and not have any trouble, generally what they're talking about is when you're just putting a little bit on. I put a lot of it on there, and a lot of places it's really thick. And when you put it on thick like that especially, it takes longer to dry, and it's going to shrink. So I'd rather let it dry. Now that's one right here. There was some really rotten wood in this lower corner. Actually, when I got the rotten wood cut out of that lower corner, ground it out of there and scraped out, I could see inside the house. So what you see right there is type S mortar. I patched that wood back in with mortar. That's the worst window right there. That lower corner of that window right there was the worst one. But it really patched well. I don't see any cracks. After I put the mortar in there, I applied the caulking, and I've got it sealed up really well. This one is one that I did last year because it was really bad, and I was working on this door anyway. So you'll see these places where I've done some cement parging, and on this one I replaced the trim all the way around it. All of these windows though, there's 3 on this side, they got stripped completely down to the bare wood. Primer, let the primer dry, and then applied the caulking. And like I say, front and back there's a vent, attic vent, that got the same treatment in this front window. So what I got on the table right here, this is a piece of scrap sheetrock, and this is something I use from time to time. sheetrock is a fantastic thing to draw on with a pencil. You can draw on sheetrock with a pencil, and it being somewhat rigid, you know, you put your square on there and stuff. You can use an eraser to erase marks. And then once you've got your whatever drawn out pretty good in pencil, if you take a Sharpie and go over it, you know, obviously it'll really stand out. I want to record this drawing. I'm gonna, obviously this piece of sheetrock's gonna get thrown away, but this is what I designed for this house. And what I've done right here, you know, I've just drawn the roof on the angle that it actually is. This is life size. And the way that house is, you know, the way they built them in 1925, you'd have a vertical board right here, and then they'd put a crown molding in right here. There's 3/4 inch wide boards that are nailed to the roof joists that are on that angle. And it doesn't offer any good place to fasten a gutter. You could tear this crown molding off to make this flatter, but it's still too far back. The house did have a gutter on it, and the way they jerry-rigged the gutter on it that I removed is they took an 1.5 by 1.5 piece of wood, and they nailed it onto this board, and they stuck a standard aluminum gutter up to it and screwed into that. And there's places in that that's decent. There's places in that that's rotten, because the way it was done, water has been able to get behind here, which is what I'm preventing in designing the gutter system the way I'm doing it. And this is the eave protector that I designed. It comes down, it goes around that piece of 1.5 and comes up under the eave, and then there's a vertical down section right here about 3/4 of an inch with a hemmed edge that keeps this edge nice and stiff. And water can't get behind here. Water just can't get behind here. And if water goes around the gutter, even if this gutter was completely clogged and water was running down here, there's nowhere for it to go to make contact with the house. It's not going to happen. So I'll be putting the eave protectors on, and this is the gutter. The gutter has a piece that's going to run completely up underneath of the roofing panels. There's a back section that's going to come back and rest on this 1.5 by 1.5 piece of wood here. I've got a lot of my measurements and information wrote down. These are the edge rakers. These will be on each edge of the house that I designed. And so this is the section of sheetrock that I sat on the table when the representative from Lifetite was able to meet with me, and he came and he took pictures of all of this. And then he gets with his guys there at the shop with the brake, and they make these pieces. This is a piece right here. Now on my porch, at the bottom edge of that porch, like right in this area right here, there's some really deteriorated wood, and doesn't need replaced. It's not in the situation that we're in with this house. And knowing, you know, what I think's going to happen with the property, the roof that I'm putting on it is the one that's going to be on it when they tear it down. And this steel piece that I designed that they made me, that goes on at the edge covers. This takes care of the fact that there's places on this edge that if you try to drive a nail or a screw, it might not hold because there's some bad sections in the wood. Here we've got, this is the porch flashing I designed, and what this is going to do is, this is the porch flashing that's going to go on top where this little edge right here, that's going to be a hemmed lip that goes into a cut groove. I'm going to cut a groove with a diamond grinder, a grinding wheel designed to cut masonry. I'll be cutting a groove, and that hemmed edge will be pressed back, tapped back into that groove, and then a bead of sealer ran on it, so water running down the house, it won't be able to get back in there to the house. And then these are the smaller rakers sections. So I wanted to shoot some video of my drawings, and this is what this is the information that Lifetite got, and made my parts. So here we going on with doing the So the main thing is the accomplishment that I'm really tickled with is getting this roof on here. And this gutter, and that gutter, boy, that gutter is so strong. I can hang off that shit. You know, I pulled on it several times, stood in it, put my foot in it when I was roofing. When I was painting, I was reaching up there and hanging on to it. It is tough. And this raker system where it hangs down, covering all that old wood trim, you know, that's gonna last like that. It's gonna be good. So I'm really really proud to have done that, you know. Designed the roof, the gutter, the rakers, and everything, and my guys at Lifetite Metals built all those parts for me. on their 20-foot metal brake, and picked up the panels in Belington, West Virginia on the trailer. Hauled it all down here with a good old super service truck, and got it on there. One-man show. She's roofed. Been a time years ago, if I'd have come down here and that thing was in the yard, I'd have shot it and ate it for dinner. 1104 Leonard Street, Charlottesville. Belmont area, really nice neighborhood. I've enjoyed staying here while I was working on the house these last 2 years. You can walk to downtown Charlottesville real easy. You could walk to the University of Virginia. There's a lot of restaurants and different destinations, wineries and breweries you can walk to from here. This is a living room kitchen combo opened up. All the cabinetry, the walls, paint, flooring, it's all new. Got a fresh remodel on the whole place. So this gives you a look at the living room area. Going into the bedroom, one bedroom, 180 square feet, washer and dryer. This house was actually a 2-bedroom house. Thought it would make a lot nicer 1-bedroom with more space. And a lot nicer size to the bathroom too. Got a shelf and area here to hang things. Vanity, toilet, shower unit, all brand new. The toilet has bidet, and that's a warm water bidet. So there's a set of valves it's adjusted where I like it right now. There's a set of valves you can access from the basement to change the temperature of the water if you want. So go around here, walk around the house quick, and I can show you the storage area. The basement can be used as a storage area, which would give you 560 square feet pretty much of storage for items. Brand new HVAC. So there's 2 doors access to the basement. This bigger door would be if you wanted to get something like a riding lawnmower or something in and out of there. HVAC is completely new, ductwork and all, brand new. And this unit, this is a modern unit, brand new with April Air filters. These April Air filters are really an innovation in ventilation. If you have any allergies or issues with dust, you're going to get the best air quality you can get inside a home with this filter set up. And those filters actually last a year. Very impressive. Brand new water heater. This auxiliary heater down here probably wouldn't be used, but it's nice to have that because your furnace requires power. If there was a a bad situation with a power outage in the cold weather, it's sure nice to have one of those to light, because you have gas, and with the natural gas, you would have heat without power, even if something happened and there was a power outage for a little while. Everything within the breaker box is very carefully marked. If for some reason you need to shut off something, it's not hard to find. The breakers are marked on the breakers, and then also on the door. Sump pump basement. The way I redid the drainage, I don't really feel like you 100% rely on the sump pump. It's nice to have it there, but there is a line that will allow water to exit below the level of this concrete. There's a line right there that will allow that water to exit. So if the sump pump were to fail, it still shouldn't cause a huge issue. And that line is also tied into this drain right here. So if there was really excessive water, excessive rain, this is lower than the concrete in there also. So that drain that runs down the hill would carry the water away. Beautiful old tree. It's really nice to do the dishes in the kitchen and watch the squirrels play in that tree over 100 years old. I had the tree professionally trimmed by an arborist, Billy Moore and his crew with Moore Trees. They did a great job and gave this tree a good bill of health. He said it's no problem. It could be there another 50 years. And he also offered to come back. He said, give it a year. He said, if you'd like me to look at it again, see if anything else needs trimmed, let me know. So we might get a hold of Billy and have him come back and take a look at it in a year or so. But they did trim it and give it a clean bill of health. So I was debating on whether to cut it down or not. It's a historic tree. On the exterior of the house, this is a steel roof and gutter system that I custom designed for this house, and all of this metal was fabricated and bent by the guys at Belington, West Virginia at Lifetype Metals. They did a great job on it, and I put all that material on a trailer and brought her over the mountains and brought it down here and installed it. And that's going to make a really good 40 or 50 year roof for this house. It's amazing. It's hard to believe. Hard to believe it's done, but it's done. And I love it.